Rodent folk can use dwarf gear and rat. Are rat folk smaller than rodents? I guess they must be. Which kind of actually doesn't make much sense. It really makes me wonder what type of rodents rodent folk are. Unless they're just like a rodent-like thing, but they're not actually rodents. You know, they're just like humanoids. Yeah, I always kind of presumed that the rodent creatures were the same, were also tiny, but it does make sense that you... Because I kind of presumed that all of those dudes are just itty-bitty. Mostly because of my horrific experiences of playing as a hamster. Where it's like, I pick up one bolt, and I am encumbered. Although I do remember that one stream that we raided, who was playing I say demigod, even though that doesn't really exist anymore, a chosen hamster man wrestler who was just like strangling people constantly, and that is very funny. How did you end up being Dolomite? What? Rodent folk are the size of the dwarves. I wonder if that's because they're specifically cavern invaders. I wonder what the reasoning for that is. So many dwarves practicing climbing in this fort. Incredible. It's 72. Don't really want to use bars. Let's use nice. Better than last weekend? Well, that's good. Let's go around the edges here. You know, I'm going to go and do this. But I'm going to replace the edges with wall pieces. So I'm just going to have the game paused while I'm doing this construction. And Ilmirin, I will probably not finish them all right away in the first click. And I appreciate your preemptive blind. You missed a spot. So just get it out of the way while we're here. Thank you, private parking. Okay, got it. I'll make sure to unmiss that spot. Thankfully, like, you know, for as much as chat's reminders and corrections are funny, thankfully people have finally stopped telling me that my fortress isn't symmetrical. It took like 5 years, but we've more or less gotten there. It's very rare for people to tune in and be like, but it's not symmetrical. Most people just kind of know what they're getting into now when they watch my stream. Most people. And honestly, I appreciate that. That should be everything. Now you brought it up. Well, bad news for you. I got bad news. You know, when people say that not everything is that everything should be symmetrical, I just tell them to look at themselves in the mirror. Because I'm sorry, but you're not symmetrical. I can tell you for a 10,000% chance that you are not the only Brazilian watching me, Zilflurio. You want to know why? Because every single Brazilian watching me informs me that they are from Brazil when they tune in, which is why 3 to 5 times a day I'm informed that somebody from Brazil is currently watching me. Also, Brazil, I think, is like 8% of my audience, so just mathematically, there's probably at least 20. Although I don't know how many people are watching right now. I'd have to look. Probably like 30. 100 people on YouTube. Thanks, YouTube. Don't forget to leave a like on the stream. And the 242 here on Twitch. Most of the people who ask for symmetry are generally... oh, I see. 1 minute of unskippable ads. I've got no control over the ads on the YouTube stream, so just block them if they're annoying. You know, it's funny. I was always under the impression that Brazil was a really warm place, but they all seem very cold all the time. You know, just going in my chat constantly. I don't even know what that means, Nerdog. Had no idea what to do with the blur sound. Oh, that's fair. I mean, it is just Google text-to-speech. Or voice-to-text, rather. I'm surprised it doesn't autocorrect all of my F-bombs to the word duck. Sometimes. It may actually. I haven't looked at it in a minute. But in regards to people who ask for asymmetry, I generally think that people who ask for asymmetry just do this. Oh, I'm off map. And rinse and repeat forever. And then a tavern would be like a and then workshops would go although this doesn't line up, so oh god. So in which case then tavern would go oops, no, wrong tool. Tavern would do this down to here, and also I screwed these up, I think. And then you would go right there. Although now it doesn't line up with that, so then it would go like this, but then like, you know, I'm not gonna lie. I think I may be better at, like, queuing stuff up if I don't actually know how big it is. Oopsies. Now I'm on the wrong layer. Although I screwed this up, sort of. And they just do this. And, like, they never spend the time to learn how to do things differently. And I also screwed this up. But you get what I'm saying, right? It's just, it's easy and efficient. You don't need to think about it. It's easy to count the number of bedrooms you have. There's a lot of practical reasons behind it. I just don't care. Looks like your forts? Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with building very symmetrically. I don't think it looks particularly interesting. It's certainly efficient. Thief! Protect the horde from Stinking Filth. Oh, it's a Pittsburgh thing? Fair enough. Yeah, I would not know. I would, in fact, not know. Thief is plural. Oh no. Well, that's horrifying. We just horribly murdered one of them. We killed Brolders? Oh, that's unfortunate. Brolder was a kobold that kept on trying to steal my stuff. And I guess finally made it into the fort. And no longer has a face. So rest in peace. Little old Brolder. Unib. You didn't need to do that. They weren't actually going to do anything harmful. But, oh well. Why do I keep typing in the wild animal section? I don't know. Do I have a... Do I have a... I wonder if I have an animal trainer who's good enough to keep you trained. Alrighty. Almost, you now have a very important job, which is keep the dragon from going apeshit and burning everybody to death. Can we get a Brolder statue in memoriam? Fine. You know, here's an idea. I'm gonna make a steel statue because they always try to steal my stuff. Brolder. And what should I do? Mint some coins and stick them on a pedestal? I could just put some bolts or arrows or a sock so they could steal that. I could stick it out where they always show up, which is outside of the fort. Steal for stealing, yeah. I mean, that's what you do is steal, right? You steal it. I still haven't found a way to end this joke, so I'm gonna stop talking about it now. And, you know, at this point, I'm just starting to wonder why you're all still here after I keep going. Where's this? This right there. Let's get rid of you. And, ooh. You know, I've wanted to do this for a minute. Let's do this. The puns are on point tonight? Yeah, we should sharpen up this bit. Oops. I was kind of expecting that to cancel and say it was too close to the wall, but... blocks. Anyway, the puns are on point tonight. I'll be here all week. Let's do schist. This is going to take a while to construct, isn't it? And I need to make a trading depot area. Trying to decide where. You know, there was a minute there where this was going to be the trading depot area. So I think I'm actually just going to get rid of that because I don't think that's a real reality now. I think I'm going to deconstruct 6 of these. Kind of want them to go up to here. Let's just go up to here. Except I'm not going to dig through that right now. Because it requires a sharp intellect to make it pointy. Ilmirin? I look at the YouTube chat and I see the fucking Rammstein lyrics, except instead of saying Du hast mich, it's Du hast schist. Anyway. No, I like Rammstein. Rammstein's fun. Du hast schist. Du hast. I could see the dwarves saying that. You need a nap to get yours then? Well, if you need a nap, then you should just go to bed. Ilmirin. Sleep is good. Also, that was a pun. I know what a napper is. Just thought I'd make sure you didn't miss it. All right, let's clear that. Because the ads are done. So they saying hi in YouTube chat says, all these puns are earning blind a punishment. I hate to break it to you, but usually the crime or the punishment for the crime of puns is, well, usually the punishment for the crime of puns is being sent to the pungent. If you've never encountered such things before. However, it is a widely known fact, an accepted reality, that this stream is the pungent. Like this is where this is the pungent. Like you've made it. You're here already. So that being the case, then how exactly is me being sent to where I work a punishment? I'm just slightly confused. And, jeez, I'm kind of screwing this whole thing up, aren't I? There's so many random shirts in here. I'm just gonna throw them all out. I'm pretty sure they're largely... Oh no, there's platinum nuggets in there. My god, those are still there. Okay. It's like having a dad. You know what's funny? Is, not only do I have zero interest in ever having kids, I feel like I'd be a really bad dad. I just kind of stole the humor and ran away, and, like, I've been on the run from the law ever since because they keep on trying to arrest me for unlicensed puns. All right, this right here is going to be where we trade, probably. Yeah, right here. Right here. Did that happen when your ex left you? I didn't mean that personally. That was the only play off of expunged I could think of off the top of my head. Dad goes, wait, why would Dad want to go out and get bad yolks? Wouldn't you want, like, non-bad ones? Uh-oh. The Forgotten Beast, Volthemism, Igathidor, has come. A great one-eyed termite. It has a round shell and it is ravening. Its charcoal exoskeleton is leathery. Beware its webs. Please don't be in the top cavern. Okay, it's in the bottom cavern there. It can't get to me. It's an ugly motherfucker. It's a good thing I'm not in the world of Hot Fuzz. I'd be completely screwed. Man-eating tapir. You know, you are right. It can see. Such a grim thing to say. Check its eyes! But also, You killed that blind cave ogre where? Exactly. It's a pretty good name for a place. Yep. Got any miners with the beard? Probably. Dung stolen. What? I also like hatchet stop. That's what happens when you throw it at something. Star Schultz, you want a miner with a beard. How's this worketh for you? You were once in the military and you're now very rusty. You haven't done it in a long time. He would like to be in the military again. He always acts with mercy and compassion at the forefront of his considerations. He is very polite and observes the appropriate rules of decorum when possible. And he tends to be a bit stubborn in changing his mind about things. He isn't given to flights of fancy, and he can easily fall in love or develop positive feelings. And he is quick to anger, and he does not easily hate or develop negative feelings. He is troubled by this. He truly respects sacrifice and doesn't focus on material goods. He isn't particularly curious about the world, and he is often nervous. He needs alcohol to get through the working day and doesn't really care about anything anymore, really. And dreams of crafting a masterwork someday, and personally values treasures independence, values tranquility and a peaceful day, and values sacrifice, and does not respect the law after being forced to endure the decay of a friend, which must have been... You don't have... Man, you forgot who that friend was. Oh, that's grim. How long ago was that? You must not have very good memory. Because, like, normally they'd have a naked friend here if they remember them. So you know that you were forced to endure the decay of a friend, and you're mad about this, but you don't remember who it was. I'm not gonna lie, that's one of the sadder things I've seen in a while. He likes steel and sardonyx, as well as yellow bullhead tooth, the giant snail shell, horse, parchment and pebbles, earrings and goblets, and water buffaloes for their wallowing, and the great horned owls for their piercing yellow eyes, and the words of the crested wall, and the sound of the tulip of sparkling, and when possible, prefers to consume hair, banana, beer, specifically banana beer, and bumblebee honey, and blood amaranth leaves, and can't stand bark scorpions. Likes dogs, but not bark scorpions. Can't stand the barking. He's a member of the Ashen Cult, which I don't think I have a religion to, which is also the god of death. So you worship a very popular god here, you just aren't part of that portion of the religion. You're an expert weaponsmith, and like I said, you were once in the military. All right. YouTube chat, the first person to put 3 pickaxe emojis in a row in my chat gets a dwarf as well. You want somebody who values the law, generally. It's not quite like combat. If you're looking for personalities specifically that would enjoy the tasks, you want somebody who values the law. Or alternatively, somebody who is, well, actually it depends. Are you planning to legitimately accuse people of crimes or illegitimately accuse people of crimes? So you're trying to legitimately accuse people of crimes, you want somebody who values the law. If you want to illegitimately accuse somebody of crimes, you want somebody who does not give a shit and ideally is deliberately cruel to those unfortunate enough to be subject to his sadism. Or her sadism. Crocodude, what kind of Dwarfist do you want this? And Temp, I'll give you that one as a bonus. I know those aren't pickaxes. In fact, technically the correct thing would be / / instead of capital T times 3, but I'll give it to you as a bonus because A+ for effort. No preference? Aight, happiest dwarf it is that isn't named. I know a metalsmith, who also has a side habit of whacking down trees with an axe, is now Crocodude. Crocodude, probably wearing Crocs, is often sad and dejected due to wearing Crocs, and is swayed by the emotions of others. Sorry about that. Swayed by the emotions of others, which is, he's obviously getting made fun of for all the Crocs he's wearing. I will drop this bit now. He does not easily hate or develop negative feelings, and he is friendly. He's a friendly individual. He's often cheerful and can be considered rude. Though he finds the rules of etiquette to be valuable, at least in the abstract. He has a tendency to consider ideas and is open to and abstractions over practical applications, and he doesn't try to get things done perfectly. Doesn't seek out excitement, and he scratches his ear whenever he's bored. He slouches when he's bored, and he needs alcohol to get through the working day and doesn't really care about much anymore. Dreams of creating a great work of art, and personally likes nice nickel and clear garnet, as well as sandpaper wood and rummy fabric and the color copper and earrings and goblets and the words of the prim wisps and the sound of the lace of silk, and when possible prefers to consume 2-grain wheat beer and honestly can't stand leeches. Well, see, there's many kinds of amaranth, and fortunately, actually, I don't think amaranth got banned permanently. I thought she just, like, left. Like, she just went to other platforms. I don't think she ever, like, got banned, though. I know she got banned many times, but not banned, though. I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I don't give a shit, nor do I really follow, like, streamer politics, because it doesn't... Shag? It's completely indifferent to me. It just doesn't affect me much. I'm not really gunning to try and get on live stream fails, and it doesn't seem like good promotion anyway. Croc Dude dreams of creating a great work of art, and is a pretty talented Marks Dwarf, actually. Maybe I'll... yeah, sure, why not? I'm gonna remove you as a tree whacker. And let you go pick up a crossbow at some point when you feel like it. Amaranth is also a band, yes. Mm-hmm. Temp, what kind of dwarf would you like, or do you have no preference? I'm also going to give you one for effort. I'm kind of amazed that I somehow have managed to not get a breeding pair of dogs. Tanks for mutton. A miner? Okay. Do you want a beard or no beard? I'm pretty sure Amaranth, the band, is a nuclear blast. It's also a song by Nightwish. Do. No. Is it? No, that's not it. I always fall into Requiem for a Dream when I go to hum it, because the first 3 notes are almost exactly the same. No, I need to, like, actually listen to it now. No beard, minor. Okay, so we'll go with this one. Medtub, it is. Temp. I saw a dwarf recite the sun sets on knowledge, and at the greed of brews, and I feel some delight. I have to say that I don't come to my dwarf fortress, this here dwarf, Madame Dwarfy, specifically to get very blatant allegories for current reality. I come here to escape that, but that is very funny. Anyway, would never pass up a chance. We're sunsetting knowledge, guys. Would never pass up a chance for a good fist fight, and she generally is unhindered by the thoughts of others concerning her actions. She has a greedy streak, and she occasionally can overindulge. She isn't given to flights of fancy, and she doesn't try to get things done perfectly, and she prefers that everyone live as harmoniously as possible. She prefers discord and debate at a more abstract level, and she has little interest in joking around and likes to take it easy. She doesn't handle stress well after a turnaround after encountering trauma at one point. Serious Salsas, your dwarf is a legendary militia beast, just saying. She tends to be swayed by the emotions of others, and she is quite comfortable with others that have a different appearance or culture. She tends to not reveal personal information, and she needs alcohol to get through the working day, and she doesn't really care about anything anymore. Hey, check, can I get a round of beers for serious salsas, keeping that sub alive with a prime sub for a 10th month? She dreams of mastering a skill and personally finds sacrifice to be the highest of ideals. Finds maintaining a decorum silly and fumbling a waste of timesies. She doesn't respect a society that has settled into harmony without debate and strife, and she values tradition. She values hard work and values peace over war, and doesn't see the attainment of knowledge as important. She likes pudding stone, bronze, and onyx opal, as well as mango wood and linen fabric, and gauntlets and totems, and the sight of the silkiness of festivals, and when possible prefers to consume cacti and white-spotted puffer, and bayberry wine, and can't stand leeches. She's a broad body made broader still by no shortage of surrounding lard. I gotta say, the portraits aren't fat enough half the time based on the descriptions. Just two friends, one being the broker, using that to line her pockets. Member of the Order of Dust, god of death. She's irritated to be wearing old clothing. So you have some slightly out-of-date socks and pants. Got giant earthworm leather gloves. Well then. Oh, it's probably the cap, actually. Admittedly, I probably should increase the number of clothings. Although I don't think I'm actually making caps, so that's probably got something to do with it. That is an easy way to make everybody happy, though. So let's do silk cap. Cat cap. Not cats. And let's just do 150. And then silk cap. 40. Let's repeat seasonally if number of caps and stockpiles less than 10. Let's move on from that, Nerdog. Thankfully, dwarves don't poop, so, you know, it's not a problem. Your last militia dwarf got killed at a siege several ports ago. I mean, it tends to happen. Like, you either, like, die immediately as a militia dwarf, or you become legendary. There's, like, no alternative. I mean, you've got 10 notable kills and 39 other kills. So Tarn has talked about this a trillion times, Red Fogel. But the simple answer is probably not for dwarves, because Tarn feels like that would be a pain to manage. And honestly, I tend to agree. I kind of don't like it when games have latrines as something that the player has to manage. That being said, Tarn has said that he's on Team Manure, because we've been asking for Manure. Basically, the Dwarf Fortress player base has wanted some sort of poop that they can put into catapults and throw at the enemy as long as the game has existed. And so because of this, well, we've been asking for Manure, and Tarn has finally come around on the idea of adding, like, that as a format of fertilizer. So maybe we need to remember to pester him on Future of the Fortress about him saying that he was on Team Manure on one of my interviews. In fact, I need to go find it. And since he's on Team Manure, when the siege stuff gets added, if they make it so that we can launch anything into catapults. I'm just saying. I'm also making this the wrong material type. You know what? It'll be symmetrical and it'll look okay. Except for this one. Thankfully, I can just reset this by doing that. That. Do this again. I was making these granite. I'm just running on automatic and staring at dolomite, so I'm in dolomite mode. Or just take a crap in the catapult and go cowabunga. I'm sorry, what? The dragon isn't trained at all. Oi. Why are you so lazy? Get to it. And also, I gotta go down to here, and I gotta place some more slabs. And spear. Let's say it was silver, right? Ermagerd. I'm gonna have way too many of these. And the other one was gold. Come on, Tarn, we just want to fertilize our fields. And then Tarn, are you going to put it in catapults and hurl it at your enemy's players? What are you talking about? We can't even do that right now, but what if we could? What if we could? The results would be hysterical, is what if we could. Am I over-engineering the dragon's playpen? Yes. Do any of you mind? I don't think so. I have a question. This is a thing that people say pretty frequently because in games it's a not uncommon thing. Browser-based idle games. Does anybody else read the word browser when people say browser-based as Bowser? As in, like, Mario's Bowser? Because I do more often than I should. If you throw enough manure fast enough, I'm sure it will do damage. You know, I now that I think about it, I haven't actually done it yet, but they've added healing potions. Okay, they've added healing potions to adventure mode. I haven't beaten somebody to death with a healing potion yet. I need to do that. Because, like, the original idea was that you would beat them to death with the frozen healing potions, but now they don't freeze. So Tarn was like one step ahead of us. That was the original plan. I'm just waiting. The browser-based idle game is don't leave the castle. He just sits in the boss room bored. And then like eventually like develops hobbies. Somebody get to this fan game like stat. Nobody needs this. It doesn't need to exist, but it would be amusing if it did, so get to it. What do you guys think of my dragon containment chamber? I think it's getting there. Is this like selling the booby patch for the hentai game as DLC? Except like it's Bowsette instead of Bowser. Yeah, but then if you title it "Waiting for a Hero," the only song on the soundtrack, and then like it has to be that, you know, save me now. I need a hero. Is the hero's gonna save me just in time? That's Skillet, right? I think that's Skillet. I'm thinking the top of this becomes a library. Your brain just goes to Shrek 2. Wait, was that song in Shrek 2? I think I've seen Shrek 2 in its entirety once. Maybe. I remember my dad once describing Shrek and saying, he's like, it's a great theme song, a good plot line, full of questionable humor. Which, you know, I don't think it's too far off with that. As well as Barracuda? Huh. I just remember the Disco Inferno interlude. Do you think there's a way to make books useful without making a tech tree that would limit the player? Probably, but I don't think that's the answer you're looking for. I don't have a solution to the problem. I certainly don't want a tech tree that would limit the player. I think realistically, the only way I would want to see books expanded upon in Dwarf Fortress would be, you know, maybe something to do with magic. I don't know, there was that, I can't remember if they ended up removing it or not, but there used to be a mechanic in... Okay, now you're trained, that's good. There used to be a mechanic in Songs of Six, but I can't remember if that's one of the ones that they removed or not, where you would write down knowledge and then keep it, as long as you had the knowledge, but if you didn't maintain the knowledge, then you would lose it. I wouldn't mind something to do with that and spells for some sort of theoretical myths and magic thingy. As for, like, would I really want that? I don't know. Just gonna disable the encrust furniture with cut gems. Fly down to here. You're cutting gems. You're cutting gems. And you're cutting gems. The thing is, like, my hard line that I draw with Dwarf Fortress is I don't ever want to have a tech tree that unlocks buildings, crafting, or workshops. Because that type of research would have to be connected to World Gen. Like, right now, there kind of is, like, the baseline for this, right? Like, if you... I realize I'm in an ad here on Twitch now, which shit. I think there's two ways that I'd be okay with this. Although I'm going to blabbity for 1 minute until the ads are over, and then I will finish this thought. So hopefully I don't get too distracted. If I do, chat, please remind me, and then I will jump back to where I was originally, because, you know, I'm on pills for ADHD, you know, just like everybody these days. But anyway, my attention span has been totally ruined, and hopefully I will remember what I was talking about when the ads are done, because we're talking about books and how they're going to change their game while I place these statues everywhere. That's a crab. We have a crab statue. I don't know what you're going to do with this information, but now you know that, chat. Religious text is something that we don't have, right? Well, not really. I mean, like, people can write books about gods. That already exists. They're just not used for anything outside of they read them. You'd like a bit more detail with each material or process? Yeah, but the thing is that knowledge is spread faction-wide, right? So the reason, like, a tech tree doesn't make sense in Dwarf Fortress for buildings and crafting and such, is that would all be done by the time you start your fort, most likely. Because otherwise, it would limit what you could do in a fort. Because the entire faction has the same tech. Simultaneously, the notion of adding in a limitation on that for each new fort would break the game in a lot of ways. What I would be okay with for books is I'd be okay with a book written about animals to give a boost in training potential for animal-related skills for a while. Think Project Zomboid. I think that would be okay. I would be all right with that. And I would also be all right with certain types of magic being limited to books. And the reason I would be okay with magic is we kind of have that precedent already with the secrets of life and death. So that's where I'm okay with books impacting fort mode. I don't ever really want to play a version of Dwarf Fortress where in order to use metalsmith's forges, I need to unlock a specific research. Oh shit, that's the steel statue. So you go out here. The kobold steel statue. Oh, so you literally want like tutorials in books. It's an interesting concept. I'm actually just going to forbid these or get rid of these for a second because I want to put them on floor. No, because that would have to be faction-wide. Because all knowledge in Dwarf Fortress is spread via a faction. To explain it, Red Focal, a little bit more in depth. If I go kill somebody in Mountain Home of a Dwarven faction, and then I scream my name out loud, really loudly, and then I leave, and then I go to a different Hillix, 2 days later, they'll know who I am, and they'll know that I killed so-and-so. Because word and knowledge spreads between Dwarven factions extremely quickly. So it would make absolutely no sense in the larger simulation of Dwarf Fortress to have a mechanic like that. Because the second you discover it, as soon as the next trade caravan comes and goes, they all know it. So you got to remember that Dwarf Fortress is a game about playing with a simulation and poking it. And if you completely negate and break the simulation by adding a mechanic like that, the whole game kind of falls apart and it loses that sense of immersion. The player's fortress outside of its layout isn't remarkable in any way. It's capable of the same things theoretically as the AI forts that the game's running in the background. Like, as an idea, if you are an adventurer and you're a very skilled poet and you write a song and the song is masterful and you go around and you perform it a bunch and it's very, 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 very well performed. Watch this dwarf not know a single poem. And you go into the skills and you go to knowledge, it'll say every single poem that they know. It is very possible you could write a poem and perform it well and people like it, then they'll go start performing that poem because everybody who hears you say that poem then knows that poem. So I had a fort or a world that was pretty small a while ago. I want to say it was not a pocket world, but a small world. And this was back in version 47. And I played an elven poet and I ran around on a giant jaguar and just went from town to town singing this like very good poem that I wrote and performing it very well. And immediately I'd walk into the next town over and they'd be like, is it time to perform? Is it time to make music? Because I would sing and I would tell the lyrics of my poem. And then the next fort I played in that world, just about every dwarf knew that poem. So knowledge doesn't work that way, really. Like if there's a way for like a particular dwarf to spread the knowledge of a particular meal that is liked in a fortress. This is just completely me bullshitting right now. But like, if you have a specific set of ingredients that, like, they would have to overhaul the cooking system to do this for one thing. But like, if you had a specific set of ingredients, what if you could like coin that meal as the meal of this fortress, and then you could commission that as a book, and then your scribes write down the ingredients, and then anybody who reads that book knows how to make that meal, because that wouldn't impact the entirety of the world. Maybe you could sell copies of that book, and it could, but that meal theoretically couldn't be cooked unless you read that book in that particular order. But they could use the right ingredients, but it wouldn't have the same name. Maybe it would be like Urists, McUrist, baked peaches, and roasted dog tallow. Now I want to try frying peaches. Anyway, fried peaches and roast dog tallow, with a side of, I don't know, apple biscuits. Something like that. If it ends up playing out like a traditional tech tree or making your fort more optimized in any major way, to me that takes away from my immersion. Kind of a lot, actually. Because suddenly my fort is unfairly superior. I'm okay with things that are thematic that aren't going to necessarily immediately affect the wider world, that would make the game interesting to play and make systems interesting to interact with, but in the grand scheme of things wouldn't break anything. Yeah, no, currently I do think the current system is great, but you also need to remember the current system unlocks the knowledge for the whole world, right? Because discoveries can only be made once. They can discuss the discovery after it's been made. Tiny Hippo is wandering around babbling. But they can't make the discovery a second time. Let's see blocks. What do I have? I want a good color. Let's do jet blocks. I never said consumable. Books should not be consumable. And also, I'm not saying the word should. All I've stated is these are things I would be okay with theoretically if implemented in some fashion. However, I've never once said the word should. In fact, I still wouldn't be entirely okay with that mechanic being repurposed or reworked in a format like that. I don't like that idea at all. But because you asked me for a hypothetical, I played along and I gave you a hypothetical. Period. I mean, so, did you look at the patch notes this morning, Midnight X? Because, like, well, just a heads up, in case you didn't know, check the experimental branch. That's in. Here's a link to the patch notes if you want. It came out this morning. And that's kind of the design philosophy behind just about everything in Dwarf Red Fogel. Also, when I said consumable, I didn't intend to mean like as in consuming them, like eating them. And everybody's talking about forbidden lasagna. YouTube chat's talking about forbidden lasagna now. Okay, like that would be what? That would be leather and hematite's red. Hematite bound codex named Forbidden Lasagna. Garfield hates it. More news at 11. Oh. Well, all these dwarves just got themselves stuck in here, so well done, dwarves. Shinobi the second has fallen into depression. Sorry, Shinobi. Hey, Clino, how are you? Healed the lore eater. Lord almighty. Badoop. I know literally nothing about how Lua works, so I have no intention of learning, but I'm curious to see what people make. Your dinner is on the way. There you go. Putnam interview win. When she has free time and responds to my DMs. I'm not saying she hasn't responded to my DMs. I was just stating that that is part of it. Or I could do the typical YouTuber responses when people stop asking. But people haven't really been asking, so that isn't really a legitimate response in this instance. Uh-oh. How'd that happen? That's impractical. Four dialects of what, Shinobi? Like as in dialects of programming languages? Or different programming languages? There's dialects of SQL. Today I learned. Although, rather, more accurately, I never knew that people referred to different variants of programming languages as dialects. But it makes sense now that I think about it. As you can tell, I spend a lot of time thinking about programming and programming languages. So much time. You know, it just dawned on me we haven't been attacked by the elves in a while. I am technically at war with them. Well, I've never even heard of Access, so shows how much I know there. Is the database tool in in Microsoft Office. Okay. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do with this information, but I'm glad I know it now, I guess. I like how some people are just like, we'll just put name and then put SQL at the end, and then there are people who are just like, nah, fuck it, brand it. Is there a way to fill a 1x1 hole? With my hopes and dreams, mostly. Technically, no. You have to put a wall in it. You could fill it with water, but that's probably, again, not what you're looking for. I usually just put a piece of floor on top of it and forget about it. Why would I want to use Excel? I use well, I used to be, I still call it Open Office even though it's not called Open Office anymore. I genuinely could not tell you the last time I used Excel. Okay, so my broker has claimed a magma forge and has zipped off. He's claimed pig iron bars, cassiterite, and rose quartz. You could cast obsidian in the one, but actually, yeah, no, you're not wrong. You could cast obsidian in a 1x1 hole. So if you put a minecart worth of lava in the hole and then put water on top of that with buckets, that would do her. I mean, I like spreadsheets, but LibreOffice is what I use, but I still call it Open Office because Open Office just rolls off the tongue easier than LibreOffice. There's one too many syllables for me to be willing to say that word, and they're syllables I'm not used to using. I don't care, Wiz the God. I'm gonna call you Waz the God now, or Waz the Good. For every time you correct me, I will correct you as Waz the Good. At least I'm not calling you Waz the Bad. As far as I'm concerned, until I've heard somebody else say it out loud, wrong, which is different than the way I say it. So the correct way, it doesn't work. It doesn't matter. So I'm presuming you need bones. Well, we're not gonna slaughter the Durgan. As tempted as I am, to be honest, to slaughter the dragon, I'm just gonna go for the yak. Pew, 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 pew. Can I make some statues of minecarts? I don't know if they would actually show up as minecarts, but I can try. Furniture. Pause the game. Bronze statue. I guess that would be specifying new image object. Minecart. Done. Cavern dwellers, flee to the darkness. Some rodents are visiting, you mean? I think Belug may deal with them all by himself once again. Won't be the first, certainly won't be the last. Is now in a martial trance, which is totally fine considering he's tired. The number of times I've like told them to go kill all of the rodents and then pan away to go check something and then pan back like 10 seconds later and there's just a pile of dead rodents, a dwarf standing in the middle of them, tired, and then just blood everywhere. It's kind of grim. It's also kind of funny. I'm not gonna lie. How you doing, Ranger Rick? It's good to see you, man. I wonder if the dragon's getting bored yet, waiting for me. To finish all this stuff. You know what? Why don't we just leave it for right now? I have this weird feeling that the dragon is getting irritated with the amount of time I'm making it wait to, you know, go hide or no longer have to sit here. I'm also going to do something that's probably going to make some of you really happy. I'm going to finally get rid of this stockpile or shrink it down into not a size. I'll just say no dolomite. Actually, no, screw it. We'll actually put dolomite in here. So we're kind of good on steel for right now. You don't make large gems for Windows. You use normal size gems for Windows. Large gems aren't used in Windows. And large gems are just a percentage chance to make every time you cut a gem. Oh, I'm well aware that Steve Wozniak was the guy who used to who was business partner of Stevie Jobsies for a while. Oh, you killed almost every single one of the rodent people before Serious Salsas could get there, B-Lug. So Serious Salsas is jelly about your ability to just completely fucking murk all of the cavern dwellers before he even gets there. And Dwarf has begun a mysterious construction. Using pig iron bars, rough gems, cave spider, silk fungi, wood kesserite, and stray yak cowbone. I need to double check. Is obsidian... Okay. There we go. So you also... No wheelbarrows. Nada. Not a single one. I mean, had the intelligent to be... to complement jobs? I mean... Wozniak seemed like the smarter of the two in some ways, but also... I don't know. I don't know too much about Wozniak, I'll say that. Cole, the broker, has created... Kednatharnariel Austinibib. A pig iron mason claims it as a family heirloom. Well, Cole, you are my broker. So I think you've brokered this deal quite effectively. And you now get it as your item, your image. So here's hoping you run around with it after you get your sips. You know, is it fair maybe to say that Steve Jobs is one of the most evil marketing people to exist for the time? Dwarf is now crying with happiness after drinking alcohol. Because maybe I'm giving other marketing people more recently too much credit, but like, I feel like we've had worse recently, especially. He's just an evil marketing genius instead of the worst. I feel like we've had worse ones recently. Like, at this point, if we're talking about just evil rich people in general, I gotta say that, like, there's a certain, I don't know, his name rhymes with Belon, guy who's probably worse in some aspects. I would also say that at this point, I think Mark Zuckerberg has also out-eviled him in a lot of ways. Just like in his own personal life, too. Not even, like, business-wise. Just being an evil person. And let's not forget the what is it? What is the name of that guy? The guy who's like refusing to die. The guy who's basically just like a real life Bond villain. His last name's Johnson, right? I want to say Brian Johnson, but I don't think that's right. No, not the vampire. Well, I guess he's kind of a vampire. He's the guy who's like lives in basically a clean room and then What's his name? No, not Congress. Is it Brian Johnson? Is that his name? Yeah, the guy who's like injecting his son's blood into his veins. Alleged. Actually, I don't even think that's allegedly. I think that's just what he's been doing. I used the wrong type of rock there. I want to use granite, not dolomite. He's bizarre in like a grimly funny way. He also separates his plasma. You know, let me double check this. I just want to make sure I'm getting his name right. I don't want to. Yeah, okay. No, it is Brian Johnson. Not the singer-songwriter, the billionaire. There's also a singer-songwriter who's unrelated. This guy. This guy. Yeah, this guy. Hey, who's been trying to not age. Anyway. Shen, thanks for the raid. Hi, how are you? We're talking about creepy billionaires who are creepy billionaires. I hope things have been well. I hope that the stream was good. More like the UK. The US doesn't have laws these days. Shenrir, thank you very much for the raid. How was stream? What were you up to today? To anybody coming in from the Shen cult, I hope you're doing well. Ugh, hello. 800. Joe, 721. Shen said to troll you, though. Okay, well, there are trolls already on the map, so... Actually, I think there are. Hold on. Crap, no, the troll went away. There was a troll on the map, so I would say that we're already, like, suited and good for trolls, but instead, how about this wombat that's walking into my fort? Does that work? You could be that wombat. Although you may die randomly. I mean, I also have this. I have a dragon. Are there green trolls? You know, I feel like an idiot stating this out loud. Are trolls in Dwarf Fortress green? I know that they have turquoise blood. I think of them as gray because, like, I still think of them as, like, a capital gray T. But I think they're green? I think so. I think so. Well, I mean, we don't. The wombat just lives here. Anyway, I'm under siege by a vile force of darkness. Although, I think they already left. Yes, they did. Which means a bunch of thieves are about to show up, probably. And try and run into the fort through here. But anyway, welcome, Raiders from Shen. If you guys don't know who Shenrir is, you should give Shen a follow. Shen plays strategy games and building games and train games and managing games and strategy games and stuff like that. He's a fun individual. You should go watch his streams. I mean, it's great that they decided to not attack me right now when there's like no wall on the side of my fortress. Why are you calling them cowards? They just saved me. Sort of, probably not. I mean, I'm not suggesting I wouldn't have won anyway, but... I mean, here's the thing when it comes to the term trolling, right? Trolling, totally fine. As long as you're funny about it. Just be funny about it. That's the secret to trolling. You're more than welcome to troll. Just be funny. Like, if you're going to troll, be good at it. See your dwarf kicking butt until your dwarf gets slightly tired and falls asleep halfway through the fight and then just gets stabbed to death. Like what happened to Bone Dolphin's dwarf, who was like totally fine and then got... decided to take a nap before a fight and then died, or not, wish they died because they just lost all function of their limbs. Tragically hilarious. Yeah, well, I mean, they're still alive, I think. Yep. They're watching a bone, like a weaponsmithing competition. They killed one rodent man. They were once a dabbling spear dwarf. I learned about weaponsmithing. I'm very satisfied. The sad part is you can never use those skills. Any drunk cats today? Cats are always drunk. Have you seen cats? Come on. I mean, if cats aren't drunk, then they're stoned. Because people tend to give them, you know, catnip. Well, there was that one dwarf that had a spear lodged in them, but they did remove the lodged in them spear at a point. So to anybody coming over from Shen's stream, we are currently we aren't trying to. I've built railguns. They're devastatingly effective, and also kind of hysterical. They shoot minecarts and work as like a blunt force trauma / ricochet to death weapon. They're very effective. On this channel, I play way too much Dwarf Fortress, and sometimes chat lets me play other games. So that's what we do here. Railguns, yes. I'm kind of sad those goblins didn't attack me like 10 minutes later and also actually attack me instead of not actually attacking me, because if they actually attacked me, then I would have been able to show you my railguns, which I'm sure would have been fun. But instead, we have to wait till the next time to use them. Yes. Is it even possible to play too much? Dying due to starvation and malnourishment is probably too much, I think. But, like, assuming, like, you still have full function of your body, you haven't played too much. But sometimes I do go a little nuts and want to play a different game. Which is why I've been playing a little game called Goblin Camp recently, which is pretty good. It's very god gamey. It's kind of like I don't know, the closest game the first time in a very long time I felt like I'm playing a game like Populous. That isn't just me playing Populous. It's pretty good. I like that there's just, like, stuff growing down here. It's a vibe. I'm kind of probably done with Path of Acra for the immediate future. You gotta remember, I streamed kind of a lot of Path of Acra at one point. So I played that game throughout its development, because that game was in early access for a year, but I streamed it before it even went into early access. I streamed it while it was just an itch.io demo. Like a year before it came out. So I'm mostly just waiting until Lands of Acra releases, which is the spiritual successor. So, like, I haven't 100%ed Path of Acra. I don't have much desire to 100% Path of Acra. Also, mostly because I'm not really that kind of person. You didn't know there's a successor? That's neat. I mean, here, I can show you. I'm just waiting for these ads to play out because we're in ad time now. This is the successor to Path of Acra. Although, Ulfsire was posting on Discord the other day pictures of actual battle maps. Basically, like, Ulfsire made a roguelike. And now Ulfsire's like, well, I really like Conquest of Elysium, so what if I make Conquest of Elysium? So he's making a Conquest of Elysium style thing. Hold on, let me grab this. Let me grab this image that Ulfsire was posted. I need to scroll through all the other ones Ulfsire's posted. Is there an animated one, maybe? Like, this is I've got a GIF of the battle, or of a battle. And also a GIF of the actual battle map with the thing on it. It's a battle map with the thing on it. And then this is the battle. We're going across the high and low tiles in Goblin Camp. You know, the artist who works on that game has been in my chat a couple times, Hazaza, and every single time I've commented on something like that, they've almost always just said, yeah, that's something we're working on, but early access. So maybe you'll get a little climbing animation one of these years. But yeah, that's pretty dope to me. I mean, also, I'm pretty much convinced that Goblin Camp is just Hazaza, like, backyard simulator. Also, have you played Goblin Camp, Haz? It's either that or My Summer Car. It's few thousand hours. Right. Really? What? You know, just a few 100,000 hours. You know, just no time at all. Why is there so many friggin' sheep in this fort? It's driving me nuts. Unless you're talking about My Summer Car. I'm still talking about Goblin Camp. Although you may be talking about the old school. It is 100 running up 100. You jump in every time they update. Oh, really? I didn't know that. I haven't seen you stream it, which is, I guess, why I didn't know. I generally only know what games people are playing if they stream. If they stream them. Right, I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna embark on a bit of a vanity project. Man, that is a very effective jail cell. Welp. If there was a dead dwarf in there, I'd feel kind of bad. Boulders is working pretty effectively. Maps eventually just have streams of vomit. I kind of screwed up with this map. I figured that the towers would be not cave adapting, but they are, because they had dirt floors in them by default, or stone floors in them by default, which basically means they mined them out. Anyway, let's do bookcases. What kind of bars do I have sitting around? Got 97 silver. Holy shit. Let's do platinum bookshelves. Let's do... bookcase, we'll do 9. And let's do silver chest. Although I said nickel silver. Silver chest. 30. And then I'm going to go into here and start placing down some tables. Rose gold. Rose gold. Dolomite. Dolomite. Sandstone. I'll just do granite. 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 Rose gold. Rose gold. Yeah, there's that's presuming Tarn adds them, because there's an asterisk that he might not. It's only if they require them, but now that he's said it, he's gonna have to add them. Kind of worked himself backwards into a hole with that one. Ah, of course. Your ruler has arrived with a full entourage, and your thriving site is now the capital. With your continued fortune and toil, the legend of a true mountain home may yet be written. Okay. Raise your favorite emote that you think describes a king. I was expecting somebody to like try and grab like a Mario with a hammer. People were complaining about crossbows being too fast again. Did you? Okay, so Kleno, did you by chance read the patch notes and the the roadmap that was attached to the patch notes? Not today, but the previous patch. Because that talks about what we're talking about. Your ruler has arrived with a full entourage, and your thriving site is now the capital. With continued fortune and toil, the legend of a true mountain home may yet be written. Hi, stupid, I'm blind. So I'm looking at this dragon hole. And I realize that's what it is, a dragon hole. And I'm not really planning to, like, you know, make it into royal chambers or nothing, but wouldn't it be kind of funny to, like, to make the noble, like, share the royal chambers with the dragon? I'm just saying, I think that would be kind of funny. All right, let's see who the newbies are. Oh, I've got it's a queen, actually. She has 2 lovers and a spouse. Well, that checks out. Holy cousins. Also, pretty big family, too. She didn't bring her kids. She's 48 years old. Pretty young. Wait a second. You're also a baroness consort? And the king is a baron. Huh. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Well, that's something. I got a twofer. Well then. The Auburn Lie. Sounds like a goblin faction. The Notched Sins also sounds goblin-y. He's killed 4 elves in his life. You've also killed 5 elves. You're a member of the Notched Sins. Okay, well I guess that's not goblin-y. And you're a legendary Marksdwarf, so you can join my Marksdwarf squad. They always give you some really good soldiers alongside of the royal arrivals. How about yous? Look at them legendary Hammerdurf. Bomb wreck the peasant. I also got a legendary swords dwarf. Urist the farmer. Good old farmer Urist. Got Eris the bone doctor, who also brought his wife and kid. Oh, sorry, Bembul the bone doctor, not Aerith. Also got this random shearer who's a novice swords dwarf. Oh! Well, this dwarf's wife is in fact one of those. You're the... Okay, you're part of the walled contingencies now. You're the kid. And, you're the outpost liaison. Two chew toys for the new dragon. Well, I mean, it would be a shame if something were to happen to the dragon and the dragon were to, as if the dragon were to lose its training or something. I was gonna make this upper area into a library, but now I'm considering not. I do need a better method of getting in and out of here, though, because this is kind of a silly little super tight corridor. Like, maybe instead we should do this. Should be fine. With retractable flooring? I haven't decided if I'm gonna... Well, also, it's the queen who's in charge, so she's the one that's a concern. The king's fine. It's the queen who's the concern, because she's the one in charge. What do you like, Madame Queenie? She is tall and her hair is dry. But that's not what matters to me. What matters to me is what you like. She likes Kesserite, Electrum, Crystal Barrel, Maple Wood, Giant Case Wall Leather, Maces, Bucklers, and Amulets. Guinea fowls for their social nature. In the words of the Kakapo, for their longevity. Big Willie, thanks for the follow and the prime. Appreciate you greatly. Check, and I get a big round of beers for Big Willie. I'm not giggling, you are. Okay, Dragon Lantern might be the best name I've seen here. So, I thought of a really dumb side activity for this fort. What if I make all of these barons members of the fort? Although I don't actually have DF hack right now. I'd have to restart the game to do it. Thanks for watching, Big Willie. But why? Something to do. They're not that hard to satisfy. I am genuinely convinced that a lot of people just overreact about how annoying nobles are. I don't find them to be that annoying. You just kind of have to look at their needs and wait for one round of demands and then queue up that demand quarterly, and assuming you have the production chains, it's a non-issue. It's only an issue if you don't have the production chains. I'm prettying up the place now to not embarrass myself in front of this king and queen. So why stop now? I mean, because it would be really annoying. I could also then just like put them all into squads together and be like, charge, motherfucker! That is true, though. Look at this humble little fortress becoming the mountain home. We're getting there. I'm just trying to, you know, do stairs around places so that I don't, like I said, embarrass myself in front of the royals. That would be very unfortunate if I were to do such a thing. You know, honestly, it's the main reason is, well, I've kind of done this before. I actually, I don't know if anybody remembers, but I had a fort a while ago that just had, out of nowhere, like a dozen nobles suddenly join my fort because of a thing that I attacked, and all of the nobles there had defected and joined the enemy. And I attacked a place and killed them all, and then like half of my fort suddenly became nobles, and I went from having no nobles to having like, I was like 18 or something ridiculous like that. I had a lot of fun with that fort. I had a good time. Like genuinely, like I don't find that to be, I guess, as annoying as some people do. I find it to be a fun little, is puzzle the right word to use? But isn't the consequences of my own actions? Yeah. I want to say that was a fort where I just, like, deleted the captain of the guard and was just like, yeah, so about that. Good luck. I'm certainly going to need a bigger tavern, though. There we go. This already looks a lot better. Already looks a lot better. And this over here, this is going to become the library. And the very, very heavy bookcases. Wait, did they all become yours? Like, or did they just migrate there? Or did suddenly, like, after a polite discussion, so-and-so has inherited the right, or the role of noble? Was it that kind of, like, what was the wording of it, Elfie? I think this is going to be the king's throne room. With just a dragon down there behind him. Because I think that would both be funny, but also kind of fitting. I don't know the reference, but you could figure that out pretty quickly by trying to name a statue image. So now we got platinum bookcases. And this is going to become my library. My library. New library, the Cobalt Bastion. I like that name. And the Fortress of Fancy Pants, you had a bunch of humans suddenly become nobles one time. Oh, like not part of your faction? Because that's especially funny if that's what happened. And that'll be the Queen's office. And subsequently also the Baron's office. That actually is kind of nifty that we're kind of covering two. Oh man, I could make this the tomb. It's pretty fitting if the dragon does end up going hog wild. Which probably won't happen, but Would be very funny if it did. Oh, come on. It's enclosed. Because that little circle-shaped thing there is going to be where the dragon lives. There is a non-zero chance dragon just goes apeshit and kills the queen, but... Or no, not a meeting area. This is going to be a pen pasture. A non-zero chance we get fun. Sure, yes. Yes, definitely, for sure. Oh, come on. They just dropped the steel statue of dwarves, you weakling. Let's see how's the library doing. So far, we got 2 books in it. Silver chest. We now have the prime specimen known as Durgan McGee down in the Durgan box. It's currently just trained. How's the animal trainer doing? Storing owned items. I realize you want to practice a craft and do other things, but I really, really, really need you to do a very important job, which is make sure the dragon doesn't go fucking nuts, yeah? Kel's throwing a tantrum. Also, somebody just toppled a thing. Long live the queen. Yes, yes, definitely. Positively, 100%. Longeth liveth Queenie McFace. She's not satisfied with her tomb yet. There's a friggin' dragon in it. How are you not satisfied? Man-eating tapir. What kind of private parking? So private parking had one earlier today and they died. But for this instance, I'll give you a pass. And allow you to gift it to private parking. Also, I'd like to inform you that statues of minecarts just look like a square. I don't know if that can still happen, but a while ago you had a goblin in a cage become the master of its civ outside of events. I mean, that could still happen. It's just exceptionally unlikely. So, what kind of dwarf would you like private parking? I will put a 2 at the end of your name, though. By the way, for those of you who don't know, dragons can in fact burn engravings off of the floor. So I'm just kind of accepting that this may piss off artists, although if there's suddenly a dragon loose in the fort, we've got bigger problems than the creators of some art being upset. Is there an engraver available? I got a stone carver who's adequate. I don't generally specialize engravers. It's, you know, you're not wrong. YouTube chat says that I need the dragon so that the queen doesn't abuse her power. You know, maybe you're onto something here. It's like checks and balances. Bomb rack, the Hammer Lord is in a martial trance. Where exactly? Oh. Seems like the right or the wrong dwarf encountered these rat people. Oh, well they're all right there. They weren't stationed. They just happened to be in town, I guess. Well, get back to it, dwarves. Honestly, I haven't traded prepared meals in over a year. So you would have to ask somebody who actually trades meals. Because I don't trade meals. It just makes... I like having to actually pay attention to the trading system, so I just kind of write them off as a tradable item generally, because I want to have to actually do a little bit of bargaining. So you'd have to actually talk to somebody who isn't me. I kind of don't know. I know that they're definitely lower than they used to be, but... Let's go for a weaponsmith. Beard or no beard? Or just pick one. There's a couple options. I mean, if you want someone happy, say Shem. Is the, like, right there. Yes, when version 50 came out on Steam. Be like. They're still a viable trade good, but meh. Well, I hope you enjoy your new haircut, Bastet. It would be a shame if you pick somebody else. He tends to ask others for help with difficult decisions and tends to not go out of his way to help others, and he has an active sense of humor. He does not easily hate or develop negative feelings and generally acts impartially. He's rarely moved to mercy, and he is not generally curious about the world. He is stubborn and he is conflicted. Do you remember how yesterday there was somebody like having a honking match with a front end loader? Now a bus is honking at. Oh, wow. I guess that Brian isn't sick anymore. Brian was just tweeting for a while about, or I guess not tweeting, posting on Blue Sky about feeling sick. So I guess he is feeling better then, if Caves of Cut is updating. Rest in peace, Mug Economy. It never really existed in the first place, but, you know. Anyways, he tends to ask help. Tends to ask for help with difficult decisions and does not go out of his way to help others. He has an active sense of humor and does not easily hate or develop negative feelings. He generally acts impartially, is rarely moved to mercy, and he isn't particularly curious about the world. He is stubborn, though he's conflicted by this part of himself, and he isn't given to flights of fancy. He is brave in the face of imminent danger, and he's rarely happy or enthusiastic, and he's conflicted by this. He values parties and merrymaking in the abstract. I don't know why I'm reading so fast. He needs alcohol to get through the working day, and he does not mind being outdoors, at least for a time. And he doesn't really care about anything anymore. He dreams of mastering skills, or a skill in particular, and personally thinks that there is something deeply wrong with people that persevere through adversity and sees those that attempt to maintain a dignified and proper behavior as vain and offensive, values eloquence and sees working hard as a foolish waste of time. And he finds the pursuit of knowledge to be a waste of effort and values self-control. He likes Obsidian, Platinum, and both of those game developers, and Tiger Eye, as well as Coconut Palm Wood and Giant Dingo Leather. Speaking of game developers, I don't know how did you guys see that Warner Brothers shut down Monolith? Anybody else notice that? Because that happened. He prefers to consume sweet potato plants and pineapple wine and quinoa flour and red spinach seeds, as well as absolutely hates blood gnats. I mean, it's not totally surprising that they shut down Monolith. It's been so long since they actually released a video game. You're friends with Red Fogel and Tourist. That's Monolith Soft. They shut down Monolith Productions, who made Fear, the Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War games, the Nemesis system. They made Condemned. They made No One Lives Forever. Bunch of other random garbage. Some good, some bad. No, that's Monolith Soft, the Japanese developer. Monolith Productions is the studio that got shut down. The other Monolith, which also isn't the only Monolith studio. There's like There is another one. Also, you liked Astral Chain? I would ask what's wrong with you, but I didn't play it, so I don't technically have a reason to. It's just nothing about that game looked even remotely appealing, and I quite liked a lot of Platinum games. And Player First Games, yeah. And Warner Brothers San Diego. Yep. I don't know. Warner Brothers has been like throwing around the idea of just like selling off their entire like games division for years, so it's not entirely a surprise, but it does suck. If you genuinely think that that's true, then you're probably not quite on the money, said Nelf. I mean, there's definitely some portion of that for sure, but I would say it's likely Warner Brothers that took all of Warner Brothers' money. Warner Brothers could be a huge successful games publisher. They're just the most wishy-washy nonsense people of all time. Well, actually, that's not true. I would say maybe Ubisoft is almost worse, but like, they never picked a direction. They never stuck with things long enough to see them out to success. And whenever they had something that hit, they were horrible at capitalizing on it and very good at burning all their goodwill. Monolith is actually a really good example of that because, well, for one thing, Monolith, whoa, that's weird. These are rock blocks, and when you deconstruct them, they turn into magma? All right, go clean up that magma. That's confusing. But like, you know, Shadow of Mordor was a extremely well-received, kind of beloved little video game. And then their follow-up more or less nuked the value of the franchise because they filled it up so much with microtransactions. Like that game was the, yo, you can literally just pay for a loot box for almost anything interesting in this game. Like, I feel like some people forget that now, because I don't ever see it mentioned, but it's not like that's Monolith that did that. You know, Fear was a very successful, little, not super expensive video game, and every single sequel is terrible. It seems like ambient temp liquid magma, because nothing's catching fire. Although there's nothing for it to catch fire, and dwarves can clean up super hot magma without actually catching fire. Don't ask me how that works, it just does. But it does work. Although nobody is surprised that the Multiverses studio was also shut down. Kind of feel bad for them. You know what I think is funny about DC, Clino? And maybe this is like a poor take. But why do people keep on thinking that DC has any value outside of Batman? Like, I'm not a comic books guy, so maybe I don't have the right to have that take. But genuinely, why are there people who exist who think that DC as like a property holder has value? Like, again, outside of Batman. Why would I give a shit about the Green Lantern? I read those comics. They're fine. But no, I'm presuming you're being sarcastic. The Green Lantern is fine, albeit forgettable. Like, I don't have anything necessarily against the Green Lantern. The Green Lantern's fine. But, like, I would say the Green Lantern is, at best, entertaining. At worst, forgettable. And the only reason I read Green Lantern is because the library growing up had an omnibus with a whole lot of Green Lantern issues in it. That was sarcasm? Okay, got it. I'm thinking about filling this up with lava. What do you think, chat? Wouldn't be too hard to do. Would require some digging, though. The Flash is a good character? You know, sure, I'll give you that. But I'm going to respond to that statement of the Flash being a good character and say that Dash from The Incredibles is a better character, and Disney did almost nothing of value with The Incredibles. So, also, guy that run really quick is maybe for the time was a good trope. In the modern era, I think is a trope. You know, actually, now that you mention it, like, there's definitely been good... Yeah, okay, I could see that argument, that DC Animations has had value in the past. Because, like, I do recall bits of Teen Titans and stuff. But in general, I do find it very hard to see why money people keep on trying to justify throwing money at DC properties. I would say Aquaman is wet, and that's about it. But I don't know. To me, like, DC kind of peaked in the 60s. What? How'd you get full of water? What? Well, that's a bit of an annoyance. Is this an aquifer, like, right here? Oh, shit. Huh. Well, I guess I'll just smooth all these walls. Maybe, like, throw a door, like, right here. That's... Okay. Aquaman breathes underwater and talks to fish. It's the same power as a SpongeBob. Oy. Oh, that's funny. Does he also live in a pineapple under the sea? I think the reality is people who invest money in big budget movies read Batman comics as a kid, and thus for some reason seem to think that other people think that it's cool. But when I was younger, I mean, I'm still young, but when I was little, I liked Marvel Comics because fucking Spider-Man was cool. And I wasn't even a comics kid. I kind of genuinely don't get how it's possible for somebody to think that DC is a good property, I guess. But anyway, I digress. Time to go back to making upright spikes, because I've got a lot of spears. I made them specifically for this. Your school had Dragon Ball manga. Also, I realized something just now. I have to put a roof on my dragon pit. That's mildly annoying. Actually, why don't instead if I do this? No, don't erase that. Sheesh. Let's go here. Go drawbridge. Marvel is the third. You know what's bad? I don't even know what a Viz Media is. Manga, manga, minga, monga, man-eating tapiaria. I'm not Japanese. And I don't like anime. I ain't saying your damn thing correctly. Sorry, children's comic books from Japan. It's okay, I'm doing mental damage to man-eating tapir. I don't like anime. I don't mind anime. Anime's fine. I just dated and lived with a girl who loved anime like was her entire identity for the better part of 8 years. So I kind of had my fill. It's just it's not that I hate it. Well, I mean, I think One Piece is kind of silly, but I've seen my fair share of anime. It's fine. It's just not really what I go out of my way not what I go out of my way to watch. Oh, I'm well aware. Trust me. I am well aware. I am well aware. It's fun to say children's comics. Children's picture book. You know, besides, the best anime is Avatar and the Last Airbender. And that's all there is to it. Forgotten Beast, Gakit of Vustavush. Jokes aside, though, Avatar is a great show. Not even joking there. Has come. It has wings and it undulates rhythmically. Beware its deadly dust. Deadly dust. The deadliest of dusts. That is a lot of rando skeletons. Holy troglodytes. Someone did you guys dirty. Thankfully, it can't get to me, I don't think. What the oh, this was where the Titan battle happened. Thankfully, it doesn't seem to be able to fly. It just has wings. It's 20 years old. Oh, cool. Avatar can drink. What's your point? Am I supposed to feel old because of that? I feel old because my back hurts. I don't need you to tell me the age of a TV show to make me feel old. That's all. What's your point? You love the Berserk anime? I never watched it or read it. When it comes to ultra-violent things that never end, I liked Gantz. Gantz was fun. Read that manga. Serial Experience Lane was a good series. Everybody loves Full Metal Alchemist. Amulets, bucklers, maces. Okay. Rock amulet, let's say. And what was the other thing? Bucklers. Let's say 2 per month for the bucklers. Maybe 1 per month. I mean, I also read most of Claymore at the time, which was like 25 volumes, I think. I can't remember exactly how many books it had when I read Claymore. But yeah, at this point, I kind of go out of my way to avoid anime unless there's some extremely specific reason why I should seek it out. I generally just avoid it. It's better for my own health, frankly. Got 29 books, not bad. But yeah, at this point, to me, and this is my genuine take, a lot of anime is just soap operas for millennials these days, or it's like the soap opera equivalent, which, you know, it is what it is. I don't enjoy endless monotony of infinitely repeating stories, which is what a lot of these things are, at least to me at this point. And for that reason, I just kind of, between that and just kind of the icky feelings I have about bad memories, I don't really have any interest in ever going back. Because they're all so heavily, and even like when you're talking about like different series to different series, they're all very, very, very trope heavy to the point where it just kind of feels like I'm stuck in a time loop and watching the same thing every time. Which yeah, that's not my bag. That's not me. It's not my thing. I'm gonna make the Noble's Dining Hall, which is gonna go up here. Sometimes watch it, but it takes a lot for you to really want to sort of go out of your way to watch it, so you can count the ones that you've watched in one hand. I mean, I'll tell you genuinely that the two best animes I ever watched. You ready, chat? Watch season 1 and season 2 of Durarara, and I don't think they ever made another season to that. They might have. If they did, I don't know. And Bacano. And you want to know why? Bacano's 13 fucking episodes, and then it ends. And Dur is 2 seasons, and you can watch it in like an afternoon. Oh, Samurai Champloo was also great. Fucking banger soundtrack on that one. I mean, I could just go for the easy hits and just be like, I like, that artifact just threw me off for some reason. I could just go out of my way and say, you know, I like the seatbelts and see you later, Space Cowboy, if you want the soundtracks, like the real heavy hitting jazz, but that's just too easy. So Samurai Champloo, best soundtrack. Over Cowboy Bebop any day. Correct. Darius. Is your twins' favorite anime Lamau, and you've never heard anybody else talk about it? I think probably because in the grand scheme of anime, it's old, right? I like how I have native aluminum blocks. I definitely bought those, but... I'm sorry, Shrimkov. But yeah, I maintain, though, that in general, I kind of go out of my way to avoid anime. No, I thought it was a siege sound. Not a siege sound. I thought it was an ambush sound when I heard that. Rough color. You need a shit ton of gems. And cut gems, okay. Come on, dwarves. You can go there. Also, in other news, this will probably be fine. Unless some horrible murder monster comes out of it. I mean, there's plenty of anime movies that I enjoy. Or have enjoyed, I guess is maybe the better way to put it. I remember enjoying Summer Wars. I don't know if I would like that movie now. I did watch that movie when it was new and I was quite a bit younger. I've seen plenty of Studio Ghibli or Blibli or I don't know films over the years, and those are often not offensive at worst and entertaining and memorable at best. I mean, Grave of the Fireflies is genuinely one of the best war films I've ever seen, and that's just kind of a fact. But at the end of the day, as a functional adult, I honestly feel that animated films just aren't for me. At least I think I'm a functional adult. So it's just not the kind of media that I go out of my way to seek out. Ah, perfect. Princess Mononoke is your main one? I remember that movie being long. So how about the MTV Spider-Man from 2003? Is that the one with the meme where they're both pointing at each other, or is that a more recent one? Because if it's a more recent one, I haven't seen it. So true story about me. Growing up, I never had TV. So I didn't actively watch television, really, until maybe 2011, when I briefly lived with my ex's parents and my ex, who was my girlfriend at the time. And then I moved out of there, and I still have never seen that. The meme is from the 70s one. That's from the older one? Okay, I've only ever seen reruns of that. I don't believe I've ever seen that one. Rough rose quartzes. Yeah, okay, no, I've never seen a 3D rendered Spider-Man. And before somebody asks, no, I never watched Transformers. I saw the odd episode here and there. I've never seen any of the animated Transformers at all. To the point where, like, most references / memes related to Transformers are just completely lost on me. Okay, so what bars do I have? A bunch of iron, decent amount of steel, 150 lead, and not much silver. Okay, so let's do lead table, lead throne, clay statue, glaze clay statue. I can't have that much clay left, so we'll just say 15. And then for the tables and thrones, let's do 30. Sure, 35, because that's what I typed in. These are going to take forever to put away. And there's a ghost. Who's a ghostly Gelder. No. Okay, fine game. I mean, for clarity here, no Dr. What? I watched TV for about 3 months pretty consistently while I was living there. And then moved out of there and didn't watch TV again, basically. Like, I have developed a fondness for cooking channel reality TV. And through a job that I had a number of years ago, I also developed a fondness for other various nonsense reality TV, like Pawn Stars. I think I've seen every single episode of, although mostly unwillingly. That was whilst working night shift at McDonald's. It was the only thing on the TV in the break room, and I would spend 30 minutes cleaning it, so I would watch an episode and a half of that nonsense every night. I'm pretty sure I've seen every single episode of Ancient Aliens for the same reason. At least at the time. I don't know. TV, to me, isn't something I watch. Especially TV shows. Reality TVs, especially. It's not something I watch. It's something that I just put on in the background. And just kind of have there. But I'd rather have the radio on or a podcast if given the option. So most of the time I will just go for a podcast or just like listen to the radio and just not worry much about trying to find a TV show to watch. When I wasn't single, my ex always wanted to have a Netflix subscription. So I watched a good couple of Netflix shows. That was how I watched all of Breaking Bad, which I've seen twice. I actually quite liked that, although I watched that during the pandemic. That's also how I saw Better Call Saul, which was the last thing I watched on Netflix before canceling the subscription. That's gonna be an expensive fucking artifact, Jesus. Pig iron, sheep's wool, star sapphires, limestone, rose quartz, porcelain. Jesus. Rest in peace, old man. He has actually passed away. I don't know if you know that, Beelug. One of the weirder things I had happen at a TwitchCon was TwitchCon in Los Angeles. Randomly, like half the cast of Pawn Stars walked past us while we were sitting in a pub right across the street with some friends. And then we were just sitting there, and then suddenly just a bunch of people from Pawn Stars walked by, and we're like, what in the fuck? Old man just wants his pie. Please lead goblet. Please lead goblet. I could make lead goblets if you want. You enjoyed Ted Lasso, Tulsa King? I mean, like, I've had a couple of moments where it's like I sat down like I should watch Severance. I really want to watch Severance, and then like I look at Apple TV and realize I need to pay $6 for it, and then I just don't. The only movies I've watched recently is stuff that I can either rent or is stuff that is on streaming services. Like, I pay for Shudder. I like horror movies enough that I pay for Shudder, and as long as I watch 2 movies or 1 movie a month or occasionally binge, I feel okay paying $4.99 a month for that. So I watch Shudder. You just torrent? Yeah, that's fair. But really, like, I don't know, man. It's just can't afford all the streaming services. Nobody can, which is why you piecemeal them. Like, I'm going to pay for 1 month of Netflix probably coming up here in a few weeks at some point. I actually don't know entirely when. I need to keep an eye out because Formula 1 Drive to Survive is something I watch every year. So I will pay for 1 month of Netflix and unsubscribe the same day, or unless I can find a free trial for it. And then I will simply sit around and wait and watch as much as I can on it and then stop paying for it. That is how my relationship with those goes. You want to know what happens when you watch Formula One Drive to Survive? Dr. No What? No Dr. What? And also, people paid for ads back in the day on cable. I'm not saying those services are good. You do what you want. I'll do what I want. It's mostly I'm too lazy to torrent things and don't trust torrents. Anyways, when it comes to stealing shit, don't justify yourself, just do it. That's it. That's the long and short of it. There's no reason to try and justify yourself. We all know why you're doing it. It's fair. Most of us agree with you. I don't like talking about it, though, because it can get me in trouble with Twitch and YouTube. So I'm going to ask you real nicely. Borrow books from the Swedish Public Library all you want, or DVDs or whatevers, and leave me out of it, please, because it doesn't benefit me. It could only hurt me. Please don't hurt me. Why justify anything? Well, grow a brain, you dip. Anyway, excuse me. I don't even know what I'm talking about with this. This was an interesting little discussion for a minute there, and now it's unpleasant. So I'm just going to move on with my life. Y'all want to keep talking about anime, please, but fuck off with the bullshit. Goblin has sprung from an ambush? I beg your fucking pardon? That's backwards. Doctor, no, Doctor, what? I said your first name twice. I presume Doctor's your first name. Please just change the subject. It's very simple. Curse all friends of nature. How about minecarts? How about minecarts and dragon? That dwarf is now a pincushion. Woodcutter's been found dead. Some random baroness I've never heard of is also found dead. Someone named Imush, who also apparently is a peasant, was found dead, and I beg your frickin' pardon, what just happened? What? So that's a slope going up. Whoop. Oh. We have traitors in our midst, chat. Because we just executed this person. And I have this weird feeling we're also about to execute this person. No? A little bit of a loyalty disagreement, I think. But no, not as still. Or not a were person. Definitely not. Well, that's intriguing, regardless. Besmer, the weaponsmith, has created. Gebmos did a pig iron crossbow and offers it to the dead pillars. I'll look into that later. A baroness has entered a martial trance apparently before dying. These goblins all running. Quit running away, you cowards. Some rando brewer was found dead. Oh, this is the problem. Or gonna be a problem. Let's close that. Deconstruct these doors. All coming in this way. I'm also going to go put a pen pasture right here. And we'll put the dragon here. I'm also going to go over to here and go to creatures and go to pets and livestock and type in dragon. You're still trained. Not war trained, but you are trained. This needs to be closed. So pull that. And also I need to make sure that all these new zones I've dug out are now in the burrow, which a lot of them aren't. Hey, somebody want to go grab it at the Dwagon, please? That's a rooster, not the dragon. Close, but not what I need. It's probably because actually I need to put the dragon's room into the burrow. I love all these random barons that are just going to die for seemingly no reason. All right, well, gotta love this. I'm going to end up punting a lot of them off my own walkway, aren't I? Oh well, it'll be fine. Let's just go down here and lock this. Let's go up here. Hey, chat. We're currently actively under attack. Can I get a big old vile force of darkness? Act like you're excited about the incoming violence as I pull the most fun lever in the fort. Excellent. I don't even know who that was. Ah, I was slightly worried about this happening. Why you gotta break my heart, dragon? It's okay, they burned Bone Dolphin, which was probably for the best. Come on, you gotta go pen pasture the dragon and don't get torched in the process, please. So, dragon, torched the, no, he burns, he doesn't bite. The dragon torched my, my mare as well in there. Buttsworth? Worth butts? Yes. Rippin' lava Buttsworth. It's okay. It's fine. He didn't need to do that job anymore. Hey. Why is there steam down here? It's a little awkward.
Bring out your dead.
Whitcode's been found dead. Dear dragon, please stop it. You know, I have no idea why they're running outside. They should all be in the burrow. Nor do I know where they're going to go smooth walls, because apparently they're going to all leave the fort to go smooth a wall. So I'm just going to do the erase job button and just do this, because I'm not even sure where they're going. Because there's pretty much 0 chance of them living if they keep going that way. I mean, standing there ain't much smarter, but at least it's safer than moving. Hey! All right, well, there goes one. The actual problem with this is they're really making the game laggy. The dragon is. Hey, dragon, what are you doing? Dragon, what are you doing? What are you doing? You know what's funny? It's literally killing the barons. That's what it's doing. What was that? That was nil. And that was, Sodell. What's funny is I had like this big suspicion that this would happen. I was like, this will probably happen, but it's fine. There goes one goblin. Better than no goblin if I do say so myself. I mean, I would be scared to move forward if I was them too, so. Yep, there goes one. Are they gonna move forward? Maybe? No. Okay. There's only one left. Uh-oh. Serious Cell says, why are you doing this? Do you think they're gonna move? I just can't process it. I mean, I can't, and I'm not even the AI. All right, Dragon, where are you at? Did you clean the Fortress of all the nobles yet? Oh, yeah, it's where it's supposed to be. And just blast some unrelated person. All right, well, let's just lock these doors. You know what I should do? I should just lock the dragon in here. Because this is an unmeltable, unknown material floor hatch. And then just, like, unlock 2 doors whenever there's a siege. Fortunately, I don't actually think they can get in now. The mayor's been reelected. I think I have I do. Oh, no, this is just some I'm like, this ain't a soldier. This is just some random baroness with armor. Well, you have a weapon, so go stab him. No, it's the same mayor. He just got reelected because we're early summer. That's when the elections happen. It's the one that was just elected. That's everybody who's missing for a week. For reference, Whitcode, Cathode, Raytube, Bone Dolphin, Hallelujah. Not the worst spat of deaths we've had. Do we still have the queen? Haha, we do. Worth Butts is dead, obviously. Trying to get the Marks dwarves over here. And now they're just going to get turned into pincushions. You know, honestly, if I was them, I would also be short-circuiting. All right. And stay out. Whoa. I didn't even see what happened to that last one. Are they trying to climb out? Huh. Well, I am under the assumption now that the siege is over. It's maybe a not super safe assumption. But that was great, aside from the fact that I think our casualty count was higher than the enemy. But hey, you know, waste not, want not. We helped them out a bit. Everything is fine. No, you lived. You walked through the minecart gauntlet and lived to tell the tale, apparently. Serious. What the hell are you? Although my mark swords are shooting at you, so... There's literally no way that you're a friend. I'm sure the dragon will help out in a moment. Oh no. What the fuck? Well... So these are all random nobles. This is another noble. And my mark swords are just killing him. Except for the one who was smart enough to jump through the hole in the wall. This is kind of wild. And then just a cat runs by, because... What's boggling my mind is my mark swords are shooting at them too. So there's been some sort of like loyalty disparity here. Because the fact that my crossbow dwarves are shooting at them is kind of wild to me. That is kind of wild to me. I'm just kind of letting this happen because I don't really know what else to do. Okay, so what I can do is I can lock this. Then I can open this. And I can go over to here and assign the dragon to here. And then the dragon will leave and they won't be able to get into the fort because the door is locked. But hopefully then the dragon will end up back where it's supposed to be. Oh, there's shenanigans. Trust me. I just need somebody to catch the dragon. There you go. Because the dragon is only friendly with things that are in our faction. Are you trying to fucking kill my dragon? Excuse me? That's my dragon. This is probably going to cause some loyalty problems. But they're also completely incapable of hitting it. The second this dwarf lets go of the dragon is going to turn this guy into a torch. Anyway, we just killed him. Give me a warrior dwarf with a beard. I may not have one with a beard, but I can try. Bambool it is! Freeway is the legendary hammer dwarf. Feels best when everyone gets along without any strife or contention. That ain't happening, and doesn't mind wearing something special now and again. He has an active sense of humor and a tendency to go it alone without considering the advice of others. He thinks that he's fairly important in the grand scheme of things, and he generally acts with a narrow focus on the current activity. He can handle stress, and he's not particularly interested in what others think of him. And he rarely is happy or enthusiastic, and he is conflicted by this. He values parties and merrymaking in the abstract, and he doesn't cling tightly to ideas and is open to changing his mind. And he needs alcohol to get through the working day and does not mind being outdoors at least for a time. No, the dragon intentionally got loose. So I moved the dragon from one location to another. And the dragon will kill anybody who isn't part of our faction, if that makes any sense. So if there is a noble in the fortress or a visitor in the fortress who was at some point not a member of my faction, the dragon will kill them. So the dragon didn't get loose. I released it to use it as part of my defenses, which was intentional. And, you know, it takes a little bit for the dwarf to go catch it, because when you tell it to go from one pasture to another, it unassigns it from the current pasture. So it's not assigned to 2, it's only assigned to 1. And so it just leaves the pasture that it was assigned to. So what I could do is I could assign it to a chain in that pasture, and then move it from that chain to a new location, which is probably a smart way to do it, because then it wouldn't get released like that again. It would have to be unhooked from the chain first. Because if you assign anything to be butchered or moved from one place to another, if they were assigned to a pasture, they leave the pasture because they're no longer assigned to that pasture. He needs alcohol to get through the working day and doesn't mind being outdoors at least for a time. He doesn't really care about anything anymore. But it's fine. I only lost, like, what, 50 dwarves or so? Dreams of creating a great work of art, and personally thinks that working hard is an abject idiocy and finds the pursuit of skill mastery off-putting, and doesn't feel strongly about the law. I'm just gonna close all of these now because I'm a little bit scared that stuff's still fighting. And he dreams of creating a great work of art, and like silver and sunstone and larchwood. And there's just random dead dwarves everywhere. Yeah, something like that. 50-something. Why? Not so big of a deal. We're fine. Why does 50 dwarves dying worry you? Those are some pissed off dwarves? Mate. You think this fort is mad? Have you never seen a mad fort? All things considered, what I've put these fucking dwarves through, they're in extremely high spirits. I never said that. I'm saying it's not the worst calamity that we've gone through. You said it's a statistic. You're putting words in my mouth. And I'm deeply offended by that. Now apologize immediately and give me your firstborn child. But I'll take a kitten or a puppy if you happen to have that. Or like some transplanted seedlings for a nice houseplant. Honestly, I'd prefer a puppy or a kitten. Or just like lunch, you know? Just like Subway gift card. I'll do. Simple minds. I do still have miners. Ah, weaponsmith was found dead. Cool. What are you doing in my fort, you... You know, honestly, hold on a second. I almost wonder if these goblins, because they ambushed in a very elf-like fashion, and they're not from a faction that I'm at war with, I actually kind of wonder if these goblins came from a place, or came from the same faction of criminals that the goblin mayor came from. Because they don't behave the same way as any of the other adversaries I've fought in this fortress up until this point. Like at all. We don't accept that as legal tender here in Canada. Pennies. These poor barons. And they're just like, what happened here? Okay, let's just go around and finish making all these tombs. Literally painting the ground with blood. Yeah, it's been quite the violent fortress. This might be one of the highest body counts I've had in recent forts anyway. I mean, I did kind of state this last stream. I'm not really playing even remotely safely, so. The dragon thing kind of caught me off guard, but I was under the impression they'd fixed that. For nobles, at least, but... I guess not. They definitely did fix it with soldiers. Otherwise, my soldiers would have executed the dragon a minute ago. Oh, a cyclops. Oh, well. Named Suvas has come, a giant humanoid monster with a single eye set in its forehead. Oh, no! 5 children could kill you, you weakling. Oh, shit. What's that? It's a bronze spear encircled with bands of sandy clay. This object man is adorned with hanging rings of bismuth night. On the item is an image of 2 olive trees in, what? In silicious ooze. Okay. Well, let's kill it. I think somebody should clean off that spear. It seems dirty. Release the Kraken? I don't know what a Kraken is, but we should probably release it, like Beelug said. All right, well. Free spear, yay! Oh no! Did you take a punch? Cyclops scratches you. How did you manage to get scratched? Well, you deserve to get scratched. Okay, so down here. I'll put that steel chain, and we'll attach the dragon to it. Sent him to clean a site for you. Did it work? I love that that still works. They sing, huh? Cave dwellers. Banger. That's all I have to say. Alrighty, let's attach the dragon to this and hope this doesn't go horribly wrong again. Spoilers, it's gonna go horribly wrong again. Somebody want to come and grab the dragon? Why does it always have to be somebody at literally the opposite end of the map? Are they gonna get there in time? That's the question. Hold on a sec. Wait. What was that? The humans brought a panda? Okay. That's surprising. In other news, the dragon is semi-wild, so we should probably get this thing trained up again. Also, I love the size of this dragon's family. Here we go. That's where those came from. No! Quit hurting my Durgan. Durgan did nothing wrong. This is fine. Does, This dragon has no fucking manners. Also doesn't like dogs, apparently. Ah, it's fine. In regards to the dragon burning stocks. Almost as fine with it. It's like, no, I don't want to get chained up. Well, Olin, you got a dangerous job for you. Or not. This is getting kind of old. This is fine. And honestly, it just kind of makes me wish that we'd get, like, better methods of training dragons at some point. That's honestly all it really makes me wish. Rolf, come on, you got this. Come on, Rolf. Just gotta catch the dragon. It's a very challenging thing to do. Come on, Rolf, he's right there. Oh. I got a lot of chairs and tables to replace now. Fuck. Can you, like, catch it? I'm just vibing, so's the dragon, you know? I could kill it. That's all I could really do right now. I would be praying too. Maybe not to Burr specifically. I'm just really fucking annoyed right now. That's the reality. But there you go, you got him. All right. From now on, you're only going from chain to chain, dragon. This is gonna be fun to deal with. Red Fogel died. Rolf died. Shinobi the second died. Yay. Hannelore died. Looking for named dwarves. I hope you guys enjoyed this more than me. I should have just killed this thing when I first got it. I mean, this is what How to Train Your Dragon would have been if it was a real story. YouTube channel. That is what this would have been. Somehow I still have a king and a queen. It's a lady dragon. Bastet. And it might become Lady Dragon Burgers soon. If it does that again. The problem is like, because of like, all right, right. So I'm a mountain, or I'm a capital, right? I have the king and queen, which means we're gonna get all of these random nobles visiting. If there was a way to have no nobles ever come visit your fortress, I would be much happier right now. I really like being a mountain home. I really like gunning towards maximum possible, you know, value and wealth. I hate this. These permanent visitors all the time. It really sucks. It's such a busted mechanic. It just sucks. No, it's not. Okay, Selawek, that's not what I said. I want these nobles. I want these ones. The queen, the king, and the outpost liaison. Well, I guess the outpost liaison's dead. I want them. They're good. I enjoy having them. It's fun to manage them, for me, anyway. Maybe not for you if you're a terrible person who doesn't understand the meaning of fun video gameplay. But these fucking twats that do nothing? And then when you kill them, another one immediately appears as a visitor seconds later? Yeah, that can go straight to hell. If you disable all visitors entirely, they still visit. Because they're not considered visitors. I fucking hate that. I'm pretty sure it's a bug, too. But there's literally no way around it. They don't benefit you. They don't do anything positive or negative, aside from the fact whenever you're under attack, they walk in, they die to a siege. 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 They walk in, they die to a siege, and they immediately reappear. This has been in the game since version 50. And that's why the dragon's going apeshit. Like, I should be able to release the dragon in the fort and let the dragon go do dragon things, and it'll be fine with my soldiers and everything, because they fixed the issue with soldiers randomly attacking them. However, these guys, no. And because they're technically part of your faction, they can cause massive loyalty issues and are related to your fortress half the time. And that drives me bonkers. I hate it. It is the worst. So, yeah, I don't know how else to explain this to you. If you've never encountered this before, then cool, but lucky you, I guess. But it's just what happens when you accept becoming a mountain home. And there is no way to deal with it. It's the royal court? Sure. If they didn't cause loyalty issues and they didn't reappear literally seconds after one dies, I wouldn't mind it. If there was reason or logic behind the mechanic, it would be cool. Like if they showed up once a year alongside of the traders, or if they showed up in the summer at a particular time of year. It's the fact that you'll be getting attacked by an enemy sieger, and then they'll kill him, and then another one immediately shows up. That's what bothers me. It's the immediately showing up again part. If there was a delay to it, I wouldn't care. But the way that mechanic works fucking sucks, because it makes it impossible to have pet rocks. It makes it, which sounds funny. It makes it impossible to have pet dragons. It makes it impossible to properly manage sieges without causing mass collateral damage in the format of random barons who just reappear and then die again. It's like, what the fuck? Like, I'm depopulating my whole faction because of the game's stupidity, basically. They used to visit in older versions, but they wouldn't just appear immediately like that. So I really hope that's something that gets addressed at some point, now that we're through the long period of development that we've been in for so long. Anyway. Could be a fun way to destroy a faction? Sure, if there was a delay between it. Like, once you're the capital, you have people that show up and visit, and that's fine. It's the fact that they're there all the time and impossible to... You can't control them. They don't listen to burrows. There's zero logic to them whatsoever. They're just a nuisance. That is it. They are purely a nuisance. But it's not as big of a nuisance as chat presuming that this is me saying that nobles are bad, because no, nobles are great. And I will maintain that forever. But nobles that are part of your faction that you have some agency over, that at the very least, also private parking died, that at the very least follow the basic semblance of fortress security and safety. Like, at the very least, stop fucking showing up during sieges. Like, come on. I will time you out because I'm kind of salty right now, Tapir. So instead I will do that. I do brash things when I'm salty. That was a bop. I purged the one message because I don't want to look at it. But I am genuinely salty right now. Just because of the fact that that's a bug. If it wasn't a bug, it wouldn't bother me. If it was intended, it wouldn't bother me. But it's genuinely one of the most, like, uninteresting, mechanically annoying problems in the game as far as I'm concerned right now. How much frame rate did you get back when you enabled it, Blake? Went to get a drink, what happened? Move on with your day. Go watch the VOD is what happened. I don't want to talk about it. Yeah, they got to that one too quickly. Three FPS, now you're at 12. Wow, that's like a 100% frame rate increase. It's pretty bad. It must be a small laptop. That's the thing, though. I have, Pascal. It's a known bug. It's been reported dozens of times. I'm not the only person to complain about it. There was a good chunk of time there, Kirkland Squib, when what's it called? There was a good chunk of time there where words don't work in my brain right now because I'm angry. Where having multi-threading on actually caused some pretty crazy crashing, and people were gushing in my chat about how excited they were for the game to have multi-threading on, and I was sitting there playing for weeks on end with it turned off because it would crash if I turned it on. Which I personally think is quite funny. Why is there... Oh, it's an artifact. Okay, makes sense. Well, I can't use DFX because I don't have that installed right. I don't have that running right now, so let's go to there and dump a bucket of water on it again. Oh, come on. How the heck did you end up there with dolomite? You're supposed to use porcelain. Or rather, jet, not porcelain. Oh, that'd do it, yeah. I mean, it's good that the performance increases are helping, though. That's really what matters. What's even better is I don't think they're actually going to bury most of these dwarves. Okay. Your GPU and it doubled your frame rate? Huh, I wonder how that works. Because Dwarf Fortress is not that GPU dependent. You know, Temp, I've been trying to humor you. I'm going to time you out for the rest of the day. Or for 5 minutes, we'll go with. But Temp in YouTube chat, please do us all a huge favor and just stop bringing up cannibalism. Christ almighty. All right. The primary and possible solution to the Baron issue is to delete them from the video game, Slyfox. No, that is not a possible solution because they will come and go constantly and immediately reappear. So they will leave the map and then immediately reappear. There is no way to make a safety bunker for them. I've tried to do this. So I don't need a solution. I just need to get over my salt. Because there is no solution until they literally fix it in the video game. That's all. Period. I've tried. No, the solution would be to roll back the game to before I agreed to become a barony. That would be the solution. Well, I mean, Dwarf Fortress isn't entirely about CPU. The graphics are rendered on the GPU. But, yeah, I don't know much about overclocking GPUs to begin with. It's not something that I've ever done. So I have no idea why that would affect frame rate, but who knows? It's weird. It's interesting. So the only reason the king and queen showed up in this fortress is because we accepted the barony, right? Well, for whatever it's worth, Dwarf Fortress is currently being rendered at 8K. Now Dwarf Fortress is being rendered, I think it's 240p. Dwarf Fortress scales the resolution to zoom in and zoom out. So if you have a really weak GPU, that might have something to do with it. Outside of that, I don't know. You'd have to talk to somebody who's more technologically inclined than yours truly. Yes, it does. You can also limit the graphical frame rate in the option settings. So maybe you had your graphical frame rate set high enough that your old settings couldn't keep up with it. Which basically just makes the UI more responsive. It's funny, like there's times where like frame rate will be kind of bad for me, and then I'll just zoom in and the frame rate will get better. That was more noticeable back in the day, but oh, I don't have a manager right now. I like it because it's fast to do tombs this way. It's not really the most practical in a lot of cases, though. More like melted into a puddle, but sure, fired is one way to put it. I didn't want to fire the manager, though. They were a good manager. Yeah, it's probably the most effective that I've found, at least with the current version. Is there a reason to make a fancy tomb? I don't usually give the fancy tomb assigned to my king or queen to the king or queen if they die. Because it gets unassigned to them when they die, which I genuinely think is funny, unless they fix that at some point, but if they have, I'm unaware of this. But to satisfy the need for a noble, that's about it. I really wish there was more reason to make fancy tombs. Like, if it made other people happy or something. Like, if it made their family members happy because, like, is happy because their family member... Sort of like how dwarves can get happy when crimes that affect their family members are satisfied. But, like, look, right there, there's a dwarf who just left. Like, during the outpost liaison is visiting, ×4. That dwarf that just left was the outpost liaison. He'll be back. I wish there was an easier way to bury families together. Yeah, I feel like tombs are something that kind of need not a huge overhaul, but a small overhaul. I hope you're getting stung by those bumblebees. Why do you have a crown? Goblin teeth crown, too. The Doctrine of Oblivion. The Aching Terrors. Damn! Nightmare Block, that's a good name. Okay, well... Thankfully now it's pretty easy to move the dragon from one place to another, I think. The dragon also set their old trainer on fire, which I'm sure makes them really happy. See, this person literally just left the map and is now already back. I don't think that Moro is a word, so it'd be pretty hard to get that to generate within the game, but... I do love that another dwarf just comes and releases them. That is kind of funny. And then a child is going to go do this. Okay, I need to check something. What if I do this? Just have nowhere that they're allowed to go. Just go stand outside. Because that's all that you're good for. Here we go again. So yeah, that's not even an option because an unrelated dwarf will just come and release it. Me? Crying. There you go. They're all gonna go stand out there like the dipshits that they are. All right. I'm gonna leave it chained up there and I'm not gonna remove it. I don't even have a table to flip. Some stupid beast I don't care about arrived. It's an eyeless serpent. It has thin wings of stretched skin, and its black scales are large and set far apart. Beware its fire. Oh no. Whatever shall I do? Thankfully, it can't get to my fortress because it's in too low of a level. I have a desk, but I'd rather not flip it. It's got some expensive monitors on it. Nobody wanna, go chain up the dragon? No interest? I guess, my only real option is to just have a really ugly location for the dragon that is just purely a malicious spot if I'm gonna do it this way, because unfortunately, due to the nature of this fort, it's not going to be feasible to move the dragon around periodically. It's just not going to be feasible. Certainly not the Forgotten Beast, because it would just get killed by my soldiers. It's not Dragon Burger time. I'm just gonna lock it up somewhere. Just not worry about it. Dragon likes that spot. I don't like the dragon. Is anybody coming to chain up the dragon? I guess not. We'll just go make sure it's been assigned, because it was at one point. Yeah, it is. Trying assigning it and reassigning it. Dragon, you're going to live in this room and you're never going to move it. This is going to be your home forever now. Apparently it did, Sirius Celsius. Also, Dragon Burger Time sounds like a really bizarre ROM hack of Burger Time. Is nobody gonna chain it to this fucking thing? No? Ah. Found the problem. Everybody's refusing to do tasks because everybody's trying to put all of the bodies in tombs, but nobody can put bodies in tombs because nobody can get to them. And for some reason, these stupid goddamn barons still exist. I hate these barons, chat. I really, really, really fucking hate these barons. I'm going to retire this fort now. This is a great fort. I've enjoyed it. But you're right. Going for capital's a mistake. I'm bummed out because I want this dragon. But I can't have it all. Fortunately, it doesn't fucking matter, because when 10 of them die, 15... I don't have any barons. I've one, which is married to the queen, which is fine. The problem isn't the barons that I have. The problems are these barons. Because every single time these barons get killed, another one shows up instantly. So it's a constant stream. If they leave the map, another one appears. Or they reappear again. Temp, could you stop talking for the rest of the stream, please? I realize I'm being mean, but I don't want to, I'm tired of answering your questions. All right. So I was having a great time with this fort. I really fucking like the way it looks visually. But I don't have a save file from before I made the decision to, do that. And that was a mistake. Because the dragon hadn't shown up at that point, and it would have been fine. But now that we have the dragon, it's just too bloody tempting to not continue. I mean, I could... Okay, no... So, what I'm going to do, I'll finish this last siege, okay? I'm going to get the dragon into this pen pasture right here. I'm going to get the dragon trained, and then I'm going to retire the fortress. The reason I'm going to get the dragon trained is because that will release the dragon when I retire the fortress. All right? When I make a new fortress as part of the same faction, there's a good chance the dragon will show up. If I settle in the vicinity. So what I think we're going to do is I'm going to finish out this siege. I'm going to chain up the dragon. Leave it chained up. and see if we can get the dragon to show up in the next fort. That's what I'm going to do. I hope that that works for everybody, because there isn't an alternative or a B option. I don't want to wait for that. Shraven, 420. This has been a fun fort, but I just don't want to deal with this. You know, generally, rule of thumb for everybody in both chats. If you see somebody get timed out, they got timed out. They obviously did something that they deserved it. Don't worry about what happened. It's just is what it is. Because all you're going to do is you're going to make me harp on it. I'm not the only person who feels that way. Most streamers feel that way. Don't worry about it. Move on. Somebody got road killed. Yeah, I mean, that's honestly the best thing that I can do for this fortress right now, is just hope that the militia dwarves that we've trained up here will show up and we can keep going and come up with a new goal for that fort. You can just fuck around with railguns, you know, since that's what we've been doing in this fort. Especially considering I now have a dragon. I want to be able to do something with it. And I absolutely can do things with it, but I need it to, like I said, get trained. Okay. Okay, so where am I dragging it? I'm just gonna say any trainer. Doesn't matter who. Alright. This can get closed. Let's go for the final hurrah. Oopsies. Minecarts are ready to go pretty much, except for this one, which is disconnected, which is a little awkward. Probably connect it, although it's not currently in the burrow. Why would I kill my dragon? Dragons are very delicate. Man-eating tapir. You could probably stage pit fights with a dragon, for something like that, but might not be worth the risk, because dragons are pretty rare. You really want to keep them safe. Alright. It's time for the last hurrah for this nonsense factory. You're off to bed? You indulged a bit too much. I get you. Have a good night, dude. So, raise your glasses for one final whoosh on this crazy fucking place. Dragons are basically glass cannons. I mean, I've had military dwarves one-shot a dragon before. They're very much glass cannons. Lovely. These are literally just nobles dying. Another one shows up and dies. You're never not surprised when a dragon survives World Gen? I'm genuinely impressed how many of them have been surviving World Gen as of late. I mean, I wouldn't say this fort is ending badly. I mean, it's kind of unfortunate. Like, you never really want a fort to end that way. But at the same time, like... See? All those guys that just died? This is them again. All dying again. I don't know. It's my own fault for being hopeful that a bug had been fixed. That's all it really is. I know you returned just in time for me to retire the fortress, is what you returned in time for. It was a fun fort. It was a fun fort. I just don't want to do it anymore. They're not even going to come into the fort, are they? Ain't that cute? Although, actually, I need to open these. That's why. Oh, yeah, by the way, all of these nobles are going to turn into ghosts. Just in case you didn't know. Splat. Okay, there goes one. At least two. Dragon, you're betraying me. Why would you do such a thing? Dragging it. Why you gotta hurt me like this, Mr. Dragon? Nope. I will say this is very satisfying to watch. Well, that broke. I'm not sure how that broke, but it broke. Oh, and then the dragon just decided to peace out. Well, that's great. Ruh-roh. Yeah, is what it is. Oh, by the way, they've all reappeared already. Charge through, dwarves. You got this. It's your final test. Boop, boop, boop. You got this. B-Lug's in a martial trance. Overexerted and fighting through the wall of goblins. Against all odds. An artifact begins. And for the dragon, well, I'm just gonna lock your door. Truly a master dodger. Ice Blue's still alive. Basically, the whole squad is. Serious Salsas is injured. And is now heading home. Looking for an opportunity to rest. You're up here, that's good. You're there. And you're there. Bunch of cowards. Hello, Paxmac. Hope you're doing well, dude. Well, I will say, chat, this fort has been fun. But tomorrow we'll begin anew. In the same world and the same faction. With two hopes. That named dwarves from this fort will appear. And so will that dragon. And I ain't gonna make the same mistake twice. I mean, you can just go do it. It's on GitHub. It's not even remotely doable, and like practically, it's just neat. So if you want to go explore it because it's neat, go look at it. Go download Obsidian and load your worlds up. There's nothing to update since yesterday. If you think I'm actively working on stuff that much, then not really. It's something I put together over the weekend, and there isn't really anything else to do with it. As the dwarves slowly repopulate the fortress, blood continues to spread. The bodies are in massive piles, and the minecarts continue to scree back and forth. And the fortress of Minedarch rests for good. Technically, dwarves do say blood for the blood god, because Armok is the god of blood. It was talked about extensively yesterday, man-eating tapir. It's in the Discord in multiple places, but the person who made it was the suited giraffe. Yeah, it was fun. I wish I wasn't so annoyed with it. But I hope it was fun to watch. You know, at the end of the day, I think something I need to do better about is realizing that things that are not fun for me are as often fun for the audience. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I didn't, but that's fine. Honestly, if it wasn't for the nobles, that aren't a part of your fortress just appearing immediately constantly, totally fine. I do not care if the dragon breaks out every so often and just eats 15 dwarves. That's hysterical to me. It's the fact that and the realization of I'm not going to be able to do anything that I want to do because these guys are just going to keep reappearing and this is just going to be a constant problem forever. That is the annoyance and the issue there. I think that the day that bug gets fixed is going to be the happiest that I am about basically any bug in maybe Dwarf Fortress history. Because I cannot think of another bug that I have no way of fixing. Like, every other bug that has ever really existed that's been game-breaking to that extent has had, like, some feasible or logical workaround that one doesn't have. Like, even just straight up, like, completely disabling visitors, destroying every single visitation zone. The only thing you can do is make a zone outside of your fortress, a meeting zone where they can congregate. But even then, every time you get attacked, they're just going to get wiped off the map. And they're always going to be getting stuck in doorways and breaking shit and causing problems. And if I have a dragon that I'm trying to defend the fortress with, because that's like minimum of like 16 to 20 ghosts you're going to have to memorialize every single siege. Because they kill them all and then new ones appear. It's bizarre. It's bizarre. Go vote that bug up on the bug tracker, is what I'll say. Because it's been submitted many times. Yeah, no, literally, like that's the only other alternative, is just not becoming a capital. Yeah. Which is, congratulations, the only victory condition is now no longer accessible. Really. Or just don't have contraption sieges. You basically can't have contraption defenses. Because they'll just run into it like a fucking meat grinder every time. Even in fortresses where, like, I've set it up in such a way where that's probably not going to be an issue, it still ends up being an issue.